All right, everybody say hi, Sable, if she's watching this. Hi, Sable, or hi, softball players. You're still in class right now, but as soon as you get dismissed, I'll tell you to like fast forward to that point, okay? So, 1-5, linear models. Yesterday I told you I was going to show you how to, on your calculator, type in some data points and say, make me a linear function, and your calculator will do it for you, okay? We're going to get to that point today. So yesterday we kind of went through how do you determine whether a data set is appropriate for a linear function, right? Yeah. So looking at this data set right here, you look at the y coordinates and make sure that they're going up by a constant number. Now they won't always be going up by exactly the same number because that's real world data, right? It doesn't always follow exactly the way that it should. So going up by 0.41, 0.44, 0.41, 0.42, that's awfully darn close. So we're going to say that we're going to approximate it with a linear function, all right? On the back side, we had another data set, okay? And we didn't plot this data set. You can if you want. I can't. I'm delayed. Here we go. Shh. We had a data set. And we had our x coordinates, y coordinates, and we picked two coordinates, okay? We picked the 0.01 and the 0.12, okay? And then we went ahead and made a linear function between them. So we find our slope, we find our y-intercept, y equals 1x plus 1. Then we did the same thing again, but using the first coordinate and the last coordinate. So 0, 1, and 6, 5, those two. Found the slope, found the y-intercept, and we had y equals 2x plus 3. Which one is better? I don't know. That's what the calculator does. The calculator makes all of the possible combinations, and then sometimes it will even like average two of the lines together to try to figure out what the best combination is. All right? What's the best combination that fits most of the data points? Okay? So least squares regression line. When your calculator does makes the equation for you, it will spit out something called a correlation coefficient, which is called R. Okay, a correlation coefficient, which is called R. R is special because he tells you how good that linear function is, right? So if you had every single dot living on that line, your R value would be either -1 or +1. That's telling you that you have a really, really strong relationship, +1 or -1. You want R to be closer to -1 or +1. If your R is close to 0, then that means you have a very weak relationship, okay? Let me give you a visual of what really strong R and what really weak R looks like, okay? So let's say this right here, and I draw my line. It's not touching every single dot, but it's pretty darn close. That would probably be an R value of like maybe 0.98, okay? Now, when is it negative? When it's going downhill. So negative 0.98 would be like that. Still not touching every dot, but it's negative. That's what R equals negative 0.98 would look like. You want it to be either, you want it to be really close to the line. You want it to be either really close to -1 or really close to +1. If it's really close to 0, this would maybe be like an R value of, and I'm going to draw my line through that. That would be maybe an R value of like 0.1. None of those data points are really going in the upward trend. They're just kind of all scattered out, okay? So that's an R value that's close to 0, meaning that it's really not a very good linear representation, right? And I probably shouldn't write a linear equation to represent this because they don't follow that pattern, right? This follows a linear pattern, a strong positive linear pattern. This one follows a strong negative linear pattern, okay? So that's what R value is. R lives between -1 and +1, okay? That's what R value lives in between, okay? It says it right here, and it maps out the strong and weak, but -1, +1. You will never have an R value of 2 or -4, okay? It's between -1 and 1 always. All right, so modeling data. We're going to actually do this, okay? And we're going to do this all on your calculator. A circle can be circumscribed around any polygon. The lengths of the radii of the circumscribed circles around the regular polygons whose sides have lengths of blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're going to do this. Here are your x's and here are your y's. So let's look at x and y. The x's are going up by 1 every time. right? Plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. We need to check that first and foremost to make sure that that works out, okay? Then the y's. Let's talk about the y's for just a second. What is 0.707 minus 0.577? Somebody do that for me real quick. What? 0.13? Okay. What is 0.851 minus 0.707? What would we be adding the next time? What? 0.851 minus 0.707. What is it? 0.144. Okay. 1 minus 0.851, 0.149. Okay. 0.15 or 1.152 minus 1, that would be 0.152. Okay. That subtract would be, I don't know, 0.154. Yeah. And then what's the last one? I don't know. 0.156. Okay. Now, are those exactly the same number? Not exactly, but they're going up by about the same amount, right? And if they're going up by about the same amount, that's an arithmetic sequence, which means you're adding the same number every time, which means we can make a linear equation, okay? Now, I can spit out a bunch of different linear equations. Maybe I use the first two data points and I get a linear function, or maybe I use the first and the last one and get an altogether different linear function. But which one is the best? The calculator is going to do that for me. There's a way for you to do it manually, but it would take 30 minutes to do one problem. Whereas the calculator, you just type stuff in and the calculator figures out the best one. Okay? You're never going to have to do that in probably any other math class. Maybe in stats, we would maybe do it the longhand version. But we're going to do it by using a calculator. So the first thing that I'm going to show you, we're going to skip part B. When it says calculate the finite difference. Oh, no, we did that. When it says find the model that best fits. Okay, never mind. We did that. We calculated the finite differences. Sorry. I thought it was asking for something else. I thought it was asking for you to calculate R. We're not going to calculate R. If it ever says calculate R, we're not going to do it. There's a formula that does it, and we're not going to do it, okay? So draw a scatter plot. I am going to show you on your calculator how to make a scatter plot. Are you ready? So get your graphing calculator out, and there's a few settings that we need to change, okay? So let's just check and make sure that your calculator is in the right settings, okay? So over here, does anybody know how I make, like, my cursor highlighted? Anybody? Do you know how to highlight?
Or is this like I'm going to tell you?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. Does anybody know how to, like, highlight my cursor so, like, you can see where it's at all times?
You make it like yellow?
Like, make it yellow around it? I don't know. I have no idea.
Google it, and you can probably do it.
I mean, you can download a different color.
Sure, somebody Google it real fast or whatever, and I'll keep teaching while you do it, okay? Okay, so, here we go. Turn your calculator on. On. Calculator on. Do it. Calculator on. Okay, I'm going to clear. Go to the main screen. Okay, here we go. You're going to go to, let's go to mode quick.
Hold on.
Bye, softball players. Start watching now. Start watching now. Okay, we're recording. All right. So under the mode button, if you click mode, let's just see what settings we're in. Okay. Make sure that you're in function still. Function.
Whoa.
Some of you guys might have been on sequence.
Where are we at here?
Right? So on mode. Shh, listen. It gets confusing, so you gotta listen. Okay. Don't talk. Listen. Yes, ma'am. Mode. Mode. Okay, you're going to go down and you're going to switch from sequence to function. So go back to function, click enter. Okay, go back to function. So you want everything to be on the left side, all of your blacks to be on the left side. Function.
So it needs to be in radian?
It doesn't matter radians, degrees. We're not doing trig functions right now. So it doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. You can leave it as degrees if you want to. If we switch to degrees, just leave it. But sequence needs to be switched over to function because we need to do functions here. Okay, are we good? All right, so our mode is right. Do you remember how to get off of the screen when you don't want to be on something? Second mode, so you're going to quit. Second mode. Okay, now, what I want to do is I want to go, and there are, under the function tab, there's basically two different settings. I can either input a formula into my calculator, or I can input data into my calculator. Okay? and it will, the formula will either like graph me a line, or I can make a scatter plot with my data, right? Okay, so I need to tell the calculator what I want. I don't want it to graph me a line right now. I want it to graph my data for me. So what I'm going to do is up in this y equals, if you click y equals right now, that's where you would type in an equation, okay, to have it graph. In y equals, this very, very top button, like very top button. If you hit y equals, okay, if you hit y equals, that's where you would go to type stuff in if you had an equation, but we don't have an equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go second y equals, second y equals, okay? And right now my plots, second y equals. Hit the second button and hit y equals. Okay.
No.
Get out of there. Second y equals, okay? So now you're under this tab right here. And it says stat plot. I want it to plot my stats, okay? But right now my plot is off, okay? I need to turn my plot on, okay? And only the first one. You only need to turn the first plot on, so we're going to hit enter. It's highlighting number 1. We're going to hit enter, and it's going to take me into here, okay? It right now says off, so I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to flip it to on, yeah? I want it to turn my plots on, plot on, right? It's going to switch it from here over, yes? Are we all good? Okay, now, I can designate what type I want it to. So if I want just dots, I'm in my first setting. Do you see where it's black in there?
Yeah.
If I wanted to connect my dots, I would go over. If I wanted to make a histogram, I go here. If I wanted to make a box and whisker plot, I go here. If I want to do, I don't know, something else, I go there, right? Yes? But can you change your color? No, I cannot. There, yeah, that's so exciting. Some of you guys can change your colors, whatever. I don't care. Go for it. Okay, now, this is very, very important. This is very, very important. When you're plotting stuff, it says your X column is L1. Your Y column is L2. Anybody have anything different on that setting?
X is what?
Okay. X is list 1, Y is list 2. Okay? So if you all have it the same, that's great. I'll show you what that means here in just a second. So we've turned our plot on. We've turned our plot on. We're good. Okay? Now go quit. Quit out of there.
Oh, God.
Second quit. Back to the main screen. It saved all of that stuff that I'm changing. Okay?
So literally all we did was turn it on.
We turned our plot on. That was it. Oh my gosh. Now we're going to input our data into there now. Yeah? Input the data. So here is where you input data. Do you see the stat button? Stat. Right here. Hit the stat button. Okay? Okay? And we will use that stat button a lot. I'll say stat edit. Stat edit is the first thing. So hit enter again. Okay? Stat edit, and it will take you to something that looks like this. Okay? So hit your stat button and hit enter. Stat enter, because it will be stat edit. Okay? Now we're going to input all of our stuff in here, yes? Inputting all of our stuff. Are we good? Okay. So here, notice this. List 1, list 2. Sometimes you will get off and you start putting your first one in list 2, and your X's in list 2 and your Y's in list 3. That's okay. You can still do that. You just have to go back to your stat plot and change that L1, L2, and the X's and Y's, right? You don't have to redo all of your stuff. Does that make sense? Okay. So in list 1, we want to put all our X's. So our X's are 3, enter. Whoa, where are we at? 3, enter. 4, enter. What am I wanting? I want all of this table stuff, the X's.
No, but does it type
Wait.
below?
Wait,
Okay? Press enter.
wait, which one? Oh,
You don't have to.
you want to enter the rest of it?
Enter the rest of them. Enter them all.
No, mine's not doing
5, enter. 6, and then you enter the Y's. 7, enter. 8, enter. 9, enter. Then you go over. You hit the over key and go over to L2 and do your Y's. Yes? Who's having trouble? You need help. You need help. Okay. So just go 3. Enter. Okay. It types it down there. 4. Okay. And it doesn't type it until you hit enter. Okay. 5. 5. Anything else? Oh boy. We're gonna call him this one.
line 3 do we do the for line 3 do we do how much?
It's fine. L1 is there. But I'll just L1. Go back over to the Y.
Okay, what do I do next?
We'll set it after. You're good. You're done. You're ready to go.
Do I enter a line?
Okay, now, what you can do is you can go up. Anybody else having no troubles? No troubles?
Yeah.
No troubles? No troubles? Yes, sir. Hey, we're wanting to go type find my Y's in up there. Please, go do it. Somebody.
No.
Yeah.
There's a random line.
Because you have a go into your Y equals and delete that equation.
There is no. Kids, you gotta do the first one.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I realized
Okay.
that.
I'll go get it.
They were sitting in this bed, and the girl like comes down to like start to lyrics. He like comes upside down, like this is very serious. I can't take it I think what you're I got a free shirt. I'm taking it for
Like
sure.
35, 38.
I got a free shirt.
Okay. Did everybody get them entered in list 1, list 2? Yes? X is in list 1, Y is in list 2. Here's how you make the calculator do it, okay? So, what I want it to do is, I want it to graph stuff, okay? If you, just wait, don't hit the graph button yet. If you hit the graph button, since our stat plot is on, it's going to plot points. If you hit the graph button and you have the Y equals turned on, it will graph a line. Okay? But we've turned our stat plot on, which means Y equals is off, which means it's only going to plot us points. Yes? Okay, so hit the graph button. You're going to run into a problem. Ugh.
What's my problem?
Yeah.
Mine's clear.
They're there. My dots are there, but
What?
I want to zoom in a little bit, right?
Mine are
Okay.
not on here.
Are you on here? Then you're fine.
Do you have to hit
Fine,
zoom?
wait. You have your function graph.
Wow. Where's graph?
Oh, shit.
I see your graph. All right, so listen, everybody. You should have a screen that looks something like that. Maybe on Holly's, her dots didn't even show up. Okay, because what we have to do is we have to change our window so that we are zoomed in. Okay, so changing the window. Here's how you know what your window needs to change to. Window is the second one right here. Click window. Okay, your window is going from -10 to 10 and -10 to 10. Yes, but I don't need those, right? What is the smallest x coordinate that I have? 3. What's the largest one? 9. So let's maybe go like 0 to 10 on the x's, right? So for my x min, I need 0. So click 0 and go down. And then I'm going to from 0 to 10. The scale, SCL, is just meaning it's going by ones. That's fine. Leave the scale. Okay? Now I need to change my y's also. Did we get x's figured out? So you should have 0, 10, 1. The y min, the lowest y. The lowest y.
Half. Point.
Let's go 0.5 for the lowest y. 0.5. 0.5.
Let's just do 2 for
Okay.
maximum.
Do you see why we chose 0.5 for y's? This is the smallest y. This is the largest y. So let's go 0.5 to 1.5. Can we do that?
I just went to 2.
1.5. I wonder if we change our scale. Should we change it to like 0.1?
What is shade res? I can't, because I have shade res before my X min.
What's
Then don't worry
X
about it.
res?
And it's 3.
0.1?
Don't worry about it. 0.1. Let's see what the scale does if we change it to 0.1. Okay? So,
About the X res.
do you see why we chose that as our window? Because you're going to have to choose your own window from here on out, right? I look at my x's that I'm plugging in and saying, what's the smallest? Let's go a little bit beyond that. What's the largest? What's a little bit beyond that, right? Okay? All right.
Like in the
Yeah, you're saying 0.1.
I don't care. Well, 0, 10, 0, 10 is going to make your dots really condensed this way. Okay? Hit the graph button. Now we have dots that are a little better, yes? Our dots are a little better. Hit the graph button. Hit the graph button. Hit the graph button. Hit the graph button. Hit the graph button.
I don't have
Whoa!
Naughty.
Where did you even see a line?
Mine's broken. Why is there a
I'm missing a dot. I have looked at it. He doesn't hit it.
Like I'm not and I just
Because your min is 0.5, your max should be 1.5.
Since Kenzie came back to school before.
So you should have a graph that looks like this. Yes? Yes? Do you have a graph?
No.
Took 3 hours.
Mine's got 4 dots.
Mine's 10.
Hey.
All right. This is not the exciting part, folks. Listen. We're gonna make an equation. Okay? We're gonna make an equation. Here's how we do this. Okay? So that's what he looks like. He is almost linear. He looks like he has a little bit of a curve in him. Yeah? He's almost linear. Just wait. We're gonna do this so many times you're gonna remember it, okay? So it has a little bit of a curve to it. We want to make a straight line function for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna say, calculator, make me a function, and none of you guys are listening, so you're not gonna know how to do this. Listen. Okay, instead of going stat edit, hit that stat button again, but instead of hitting enter like we go back to our list, don't go stat edit. Click the over button, which goes to calc, right?
That's what class.
Calc, okay? And what we want it to do is we want to go down, hit the down arrow, we want a linear regression, ax plus b, that's like mx plus b. We want to go down to linear regression. Basically this is saying, calculator, make me a line, but then it's going to say, wait a second, what data do you want? Do you want the data from list 1 and list 2? Because that's what it's defaulting to.
yes.
So if I use list 2 and list 3, that's how I'm going to change it. Do you know how to change it to list 2 and list 3?
How do you know?
You just
Right down there are list 2 and list 3, okay?
How do you know like which one like is good though?
Go stat
I've
edit.
never heard anybody say
All my
that.
stuff is typed into list 1 and list 2. If I type it accidentally into list 2 and list 3, I'm going to use list 2 and list 3. Yeah? So, stat, calc, linear regression, enter. Stat, calc, linear regression, list 1, list 2. Okay, and then I'm going to go down to calculate. And it's going to do this to me. Yeah,
enter.
yeah. You hit enter.
That's
Y
Again,
equals AX plus B.
Go down to where it says calculate.
It doesn't give you
Go down to where it says calculate.
It only gives you the answer.
It gives me this stupid thing, right?
Get that out of here.
Okay, get that out of here. This is the answer. This is the answer. If this is not what you got, you probably typed the number in wrong. Oh no,
Where
you
do
just
you write
got
it?
edit.
Well, I got some higher than you. I got different numbers.
Then you typed something in wrong.
I got the same numbers, but I also got
Why would I
R2.
not?
Or I typed it in wrong.
I just have to do
That's
that.
what I was
Totally
doing
got
R2 and R. I think
I just
I
swear
don't
to
know.
God.
You have what we need then. Okay? Does anybody have what I have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah? You have what I have? Okay. So, just wait a second. We'll fix y'all here in a little bit, alright? If you don't have what I have, you just typed the number in wrong. It's fine. Okay. So,
And
this is my linear function.
see, Emily and I got the same thing. You guys screwed up.
You screwed up. You
No,
said
there's
when
more of
to
us
or
than
no.
there is
You've done
Yeah.
what?
I also don't remember. I think it's stat, you go to calc, it's like,
What do I do?
There we go. So, what I do is, this is saying this is in the form of y equals ax plus b, where a is 0.148. So I'm going to plug 0.148 in for a, and it's going to look like y equals mx plus b.
I
Yes?
did it. Hey, I fixed it. Now
Wait, I have 4 answers. I have R squared.
Just wait. Just wait.
I don't know where you got .118.
Sure. Sure. Brooklyn, do you have what I have?
Yeah.
You have exactly what I have.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I do.
Exactly. All right. Then we
I have the same thing.
we typed some numbers
We
in
are
wrong.
the same person.
We're gonna do this again, so you'll get to see it again.
Wait, if we got it right the first time, did we just watch it?
Now, here we go. This is what I want to do. Listen, listen, listen. I'm going to go out 3 decimal places. Go at least 3 decimal places when you're only dealing with decimals. At least 3 decimal places. This is my function. Okay, now, I am going to make it so that it will plot my data points, my stat plot, and my line at the same time. Are you ready for this? Okay, so, good. It's going to be crazy. Go to y equals. This y equals button. Now I want it to graph a line, okay? And then my y equals. When you hit y equals, y equals, y equals, okay? You're going to go to
Wait, yeah.
Wait, what button did you
hit
click
y equals.
Where?
Hit the freaking y equals button and listen to what I am
I did it like
saying.
5 times, but it didn't do anything, so I just Saved it a bunch of
Do
work.
it. Then hit second quit and do y
It
equals.
worked.
All right. 0.148 x
Wait.
plus 0.118.
Where'd you get X?
X is this button right here.
Same thing as the end.
Same thing as the end.
Oh, our line's the same. It's just
Plus, why do I have
You
an
can
I in
click-
there? I don't know.
Enter.
Nope. Plus. Plus, I don't know why I put an I in there. Okay.
Now you got a decimal in there.
0.148x plus 0.118. 0.118. There we go. Okay. Good. No, not enter. Hit graph. Graph.
It's this thing.
Oh, you draw your line very slowly.
Magical. Now,
I
is
missed
it?
it.
You
And
missed
then
it.
all the white, all the
Wait. Now hit second quit and hit graph again, and I'll do it again.
You can see.
Hit second quit. Okay, if you want to watch
and then
it.
all the white points are the ones
still
that
missing
are.
a
Oh,
dot.
but that's still there. Whatever. It doesn't draw it again for you.
One of my dots literally just like never
Now,
existed.
not all of your dots are on that line, yes? Not
Yes.
all of your dots are, but that's
Yes.
okay. This is a pretty good
The ones that are
approximation.
white.
So what are we supposed to do?
Where did
Okay.
the dot go? If I entered all the information, where did it go?
So, in part C, this was the answer to part C. This was write an equation. Listen,
Why are some
Listen.
open and some closed?
listen. They're not all, none of them are open.
It's just so
Yeah, they
bad.
are.
They're
It's
all
the
the
way
way
that
they
it
are.
looks. It's just the way that it looks. Because the line is going through some of the points, but not through the others.
You mean none of them are closed?
No, they're all closed. That's just what they use to.
Yes, they
they're
are.
all
Eric, you're
closed.
So the ones that are
Okay.
only dots are all the ones that blind.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
That is an open.
All right, letter D. Listen.
Erica,
Erica.
Listen. Letter D. What does the correlation coefficient indicate about the data? Some of you, just wait. Some of you guys have said on your calculator, like Victoria, has said that when she went to stat, calc, linear regression. Practice doing that again. Go stat, calc, linear regression.
Yeah.
Okay. Hit your stat button. Stat button right here. Stat button. I'm doing it up here on the board. Stat. Go over to calc. Go down to linear regression. Go down to calculate, just like we did before. These are the same steps, and click enter. This is where you got your function from. Yes? 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 Okay, now, on some people's calculator, they have an R and then they have an R squared also. Okay? The R tells you how good of an equation it is, right? We want that R to be really close to -1 or really close to +1, yes? Okay? Now, mine doesn't have it, so I'm going to tell the calculator, give me the R, okay? You ready to download some things onto your calculator? We gotta make it tell me the R. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Go to, listen, you only have to do this once. You only have to do this once and then it will give you R from now on, all right? Only do this once. Go to the second button, the blue button, second catalog, which is the 0 button, okay? I'll show you again. Second catalog. Second catalog. If you do not have R, go to second catalog. Do it now. Second catalog. Then you're going to go all the way down to, what? It doesn't matter. Straight from the graph. It doesn't matter.
Where are we going?
Go all the way down to where it says diagnostic on. So you're looking for the D's. Diagnostic on. Right there. Okay, diagnostic on. Yes? Yes? Diagnostic on. Yes? Not off, on. I want diagnostic on.
And then do we day
On. Click enter. Okay? Now, if you click enter, listen. Click enter. It will take you to this screen. Hit enter again. Hit enter again and it says done. Okay? It says done. If you hit enter again, it says done. Yes?
So
Did you
what
get through
happens if
there?
I say yes and press enter again?
I don't want to listen to you. Be quiet. Go to stat, calc, go down to linear regression. Stat, calc, linear regression, just like we were before.
AX plus B or A plus BX? So
Oh.
I went down to the next one.
I got it.
It doesn't matter which one you do. You're just A's and B's will be switched around. Okay, go down to calc. And now it's giving me an R and an R squared. Yes?
Oh, okay, that's what that is.
Yes? Yes? Yes?
We have line leg.
Now say that.
Okay. Go to stat,
Yes.
calc,
Yes.
linear regression, down to calculate, enter, just like you did before. It's going to spit out this, but it's going to have an R and an R squared. Yes? Boom. Okay, so we don't care about, just wait, we don't care about R squared for right now. Listen, we don't care about R squared for right now. We're going to write down R. In this case, for part D, R is equal to 0.9996. That is a very, 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 3 nines R good one.
That's very good.
That's a very good R.
On this kind
That's a
of
very good R. Yes.
On
That's a very good R. All right, next page. Let's do it again.
yeah.
That's 2 minutes. We need to stop.
Okay, here is what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. Go to stat, edit, and enter in the data that is right here, except you're not going to enter in 1900? Yeah. You're going to enter in 0 and 20 and 30.
Just type over it.
Just type
Or just
over it.
delete it.
0, 20, 30.
Oh, 85.
Wait,
Okay, I'm done.
How do we get there again?
Yeah, then I
Okay.
got 60, 70, 80.
You are going stat. You were doing stat edit. If you want to delete your list, go up to the L2 and hit clear.
Are we doing the first one?
Somebody has a phone.
Oh, shoot.
No, type over it. No, you just go right there. Just type over it.
Nothing better, you didn't call your mother before you leave. Okay, so if you want to delete stuff out of your list, I'll show you how to do it. Okay, if you want to delete everything out, watch. If you want to delete everything out, go up to list 1. Put your cursor on list 1, like scroll and go all the way up to list 1 and click clear. Click clear and hit enter. And now you have everything cleared out, okay? What I want you to do for homework is to type all of this stuff in using the 0, 20, 30, blah, 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 and try and see if you can remember how to spit out an equation.
No.
That's your homework.
I meant no actual homework.
No, don't do any of that yet. You probably can if you want to, but don't do any of that yet. Oh my lord, oh my lord. Okay, escape. We need to